Breaking news today.
Please subscribe and then check notification box to get all breaking news alerts.
Over the last several years, Muslim refugees and migrants have flooded into Europe, causing mass chaos and destruction. The once beautiful and historic area has changed from a must-see tourist destination to a terrorist breeding grounds with no end in sight. Politicians in these liberal countries have continued to allow these Muslim migrants to flood over their borders even though their countries cannot handle it anymore. Also, if leaders in European countries try to put a stop to the mass influx of Muslim refugees, they are met with riots and protests from the lunatic left. And that is what has happened after thousands of asylum seekers in Germany were told to pack their bags and head home to the Middle East. It is no secret that Germany is in quite the pickle after allowing thousands of Muslim refugees to flood into their country. In their effort to appear tolerant and accepting of these third-world leeches, their nation has become a cesspool of violence and is now bankrupt. We have seen that terrorist attacks are on the rise as well as rape, theft, and burglary, while the German people are left defenseless. Finally, after years of allowing this lunacy to happen, the German government is beginning to deny migrants applying for asylum and deporting them back to their country. However, if you thought that this would be a welcomed policy, you would be wrong. As it turns out, many German pilots are refusing to fly these deported Muslims back to the Middle East, claiming that their lives in jeopardy. And, instead of the airline's upper management firing these insubordinate pilots, they allow them to stay on the payroll and costing the companies millions of dollars. Here is more from Independent. German pilots have reportedly grounded more than 200 flights after refusing to be involved in the deportations of failed asylum seekers. Flight crews said they did not want to participate in sending people back to Afghanistan, where violence is still rife following years of war and occupation by Western forces. Between January and September, 222 flights were cancelled, according to German government figures, with most 140 coming at Frankfurt Airport. German media reported that 85 of the disrupted flights were on Lufthansa and its subsidiary, Eurowings. Germany has been a popular destination for people arriving from abroad. Chancellor Angela Merkel adopted a permissive stance to migration at the height of the recent crisis, and in 2015, some 1.5 million people entered Germany, of which a third had come from living in another EU country. According to Die Welt, cited by US Today, Germany's Federal Office for Migration and Refugees decided more than 388,000 asylum cases in the first half of this year. At least one similar refusal is known to have taken place in the UK when British Airways pilot refused to take off while Samim Bigzad was on board earlier this year. Mr. Bigzad, an Afghan, faced deportation to the city where the Taliban had threatened to kill him before the pilot intervened, saying, "You're not going to take him, I am not flying. Someone's life is at risk." Well, isn't he that special of these bleeding heart pilots, right? At any rate, in an effort to make the journey back to Afghanistan more appealing, the German government is now offering to pay these failed asylum seekers taxpayer money to voluntarily return home. Here is more from Daily Saba. The German government is offering up to €3,000, $3,700, in financial aid if they opt to return to their countries of origin voluntarily, Germany's Interior Ministry said this past Sunday, confirming reports about a new government program. Families returning home can apply for goods and services worth up to €3,000, while individuals can receive goods and services worth €1,000 in their home country, the ministry said, adding that the new benefits were an extension of an existing support program launched in February. The German government is trying to incentivize voluntary departures by failed asylum seekers as the country deals with an influx of just below 1 million migrants that arrived from countries including Syria, Afghanistan, and Iraq in 2015 and 2016. If you decide in favor of voluntary departure by the end of February, You can get not only startup assistance but also housing cost assistance for the first year in your country of origin. Interior Minister Thomas de Maizière was quoted as saying by mass circulation newspaper Bild, which had the initial report. While it is excellent, the German government is now doing something about their Muslim migrant issue. It may be too little too late. For the past several years, the compassionate left has been banging in everyone's head that turning away these poor and defenseless migrants was wrong. So, now the government realizes they can't afford to house and feed those migrants, so they need to start sending them back. However, that will be an issue since an entire generation has been taught something different. The only way this will stop for Germany and other surrounding countries is for the leadership to take a stand and force these leeches out despite how liberals feel. Then they will be able to get their country back on track and hopefully, economically as well. HT Independent. Follow us on Facebook at Freedom Daily.